Welcome back to our channel, 1134 Press, where we share bookmaking, journaling, and papercraft inspiration to help you document your life. So last week we created a junk journal file made up of paper scraps, and in that file was a little pocket. So this week I'm going to share a quick little project that we can do to give you inspiration on what to put in junk journal pockets, and you can adapt this project for tuck spots. In this video, we're going to make a vintage-inspired itinerary booklet, and I'm going to share with you some experimental writing prompts so you can document a vacation or an event within this booklet. So let's start with constructing our itinerary booklet. The aesthetic of the book was inspired by passports. I searched what font US passports use. It's Times New Roman, by the way. And I glued the text on the back of thick cardstock and grunged up the text with distressing ink. Most, if not all, passports have an emblem in the center, so I used this little stamp with gold ink. If you search vintage passport images, you'll see that the stamps within the books are faded, shades of blue, red, and brown. I went through my box of vintage papers for papers that were heavily faded, but if you don't have vintage papers, you can achieve this by soaking junk mail in coffee or tea. Once I selected my papers, I experimented with the placement of my stamps. I made sure to blot my stamps first before pressing it onto my journal pages to make it appear more faded. I also brushed on a little watercolor for more layering. I decorated more pages than what I needed just so I can feel free to get as experimental as I wanted without feeling the pressure of having to get it just right. Before I bind and decorate the journal further, I'm going to do some journaling with my typewriter. If you don't have a typewriter, you can adapt by writing by hand, stamping your writing out, or just simply typing it up on a computer and printing it out. I get bored sometimes of writing my journal entries in sentences and paragraphs, and if you get bored of that too, a great way to get out of that rut is by experimenting with different forms, such as an itinerary. So let's get into what is in an actual itinerary. So an itinerary can include dates and times, addresses, list of events and activities, names, arrival, and departure. An itinerary is usually a document that's given to you, so the tone is that of an instruction manual. To add more personality to the dates and places, I wrote my itinerary as if I was creating it for a friend who wanted to know how to have a good time at the places we visited, while using short and concise sentences. For example, we visited a cigar lounge for the first time. I wrote the name and address of the place and a list of what we did while we were at the cigar lounge that made it a memorable experience. I knew that I wanted to include photos of the places we visited, so I was thoughtful about spacing out the text. I also wanted the text to feel like it was part of the background. It bleeds into some of the stamping and the orientation varies. I opted to do a simple staple binding. That little green thing that I'm stapling into is floral foam that you can find at the dollar store or a craft store, but any foamy packaging that you have around that is forgiving enough for you to staple through is fine. I'm not the best at remembering to take photos when I'm out, but thankfully we live in the 21st century and I can search up the names of all the places we've visited and print out photos of those places. I screen grab these photos, edit them on the photo editing app called Visco, and printed them out on my little printer. Et voila, the itinerary booklet is complete. But before I go, it is time for our small business highlight segment. If you're new to this channel, I like to highlight small businesses that cater to our community of creative journaling artists. So if you are watching this and you also have a small business, make sure to drop the name of your shop in the comments for a chance to be highlighted in the next video. So let's highlight the shop Cara Brandon Creations. In Cara Brandon Creations shop, you'll find so many beautiful and high quality digital kits to help you create and embellish your journals for any season of the year. I'm personally in love with the vintage tickets and can't wait to try out her Christmas collection. So head over to Etsy to check out Cara Brandon Creations. A link will be available in the shop below. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.